Okay, let's try this again. It's video blog for Chintamani Ashram, 13th of August of 2013 at 10:17 a.m. I am at my mother's house still. A little bit unsure as to what's going on with my life and my since the Social Security card got lost in the mail and I lost my office. I've been kind of out of it. I've had a really hard time focusing, making sense out of what I'm doing and not doing with my life. And I guess part of the problem is that I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I was like, you have a certain path and then suddenly it gets turned over another way, and then you find yourself kind of floating. And Mom's right about that. She says that I'm depressed, that I'm anxious and depressed and angry. And yeah, that all applies. That's all real and factual and conscientious. But on the other hand, I can't let myself down by these little setbacks in life. There's things to do in life. There's things to accomplish with my life. I'm 45 years old. Dad's going to be 70 this year, this coming year. Mom's 68. And I got to figure out, how we're going to go on to the next step. And I haven't really gotten into a project mood, because I've been coming out of the ashes, kind of, I had my store, I had my card, and then suddenly, boom, everything's gone, and I'm here at, the old room that I used to have when I just came to Valle, which is my mom's house, here. And, it's fucking depressing, man. It's fucking, it freaks me out, because I feel kind of, incompetent and unable, and, my self-esteem goes down to the tubes and all that shit, and I gotta figure it out, from the whole plans to invade the United States to this, man. That's just a huge difference. And I don't know, I got my writing projects, I've got my film projects, I've got my projects here, projects there, but I'm not doing absolutely fuck all to make them happen. So much so that yesterday and the day before, Monday and Sunday, I should have gone out to the flea market to sell, or to, read cards, and I didn't. And I didn't because at the end of the day I was going to earn around, $20, $30, which is not bad money in Mexico. But the effort to get up at, 6 o'clock in the morning and get out there I just didn't feel like it. I felt it was like weird. So instead, what I'm doing is that I'm sitting down in front of the camera, this immensely dangerous mirror of my own self at this moment in time, to try to set down some thoughts and ideas onto what the fuck is going on with me. Because yeah, Mom is right. I am kind of a little angry lately. I'm very angry, and it's not with anybody in particular except maybe myself. I'm angry that I lost the store. Well, it was not my fault. I'm angry that I lost the Social Security card. Well, it was not my fault. But I guess in a larger context, I'm angry that I haven't accomplished anything better with myself in these years, that my existence was so subtly connected to a fucking little card about this big, made out of plastic. I mean, fuck. That's just wrong, guys. So sitting down in front of the camera is like a meditation to figure out what the fuck I gotta do to get over myself. Now, I can go back on my plans and ideas and concepts from long ago. I mean, when I first came to Valle, it was 2001, and I was sure that George Bush had done 9/11, and I thought that the only alternative, the logical alternative to all that was like, you know, having Mexico invade the United States. That was my great plan, and well, that didn't pan out too well. Instead, you know, we're just knee-deep in narco-terror all around us. So there's good things about what's going on. I mean, we got a little garden. We got, you know, the sunlight is out. I've eaten a lot of shrooms this year. But the overall concept of what to do with oneself as an organism of change, as a catalyst of the goodness in man, is just, you know, it's a little under fire today, you know, and it's under fire because Mom's angry. I can sense her anger, you know, from the tip of her head to the bottom of her toes. We're still taking care of 3 kids from my sissy, and doing the best I know how with that, but I don't know if the effort is appreciated or even understood, and all the other aspects of my life. I mean, my pedophilia, or my fantastic pedophilia, as I like to call it, Mom calls it, the drug use, all those odd things that I've gotten myself into. You know, I don't have any regrets. No, not really. Perhaps my regrets are that I've not gotten away with it ever. I don't know. I was years ago set up to defend and to protect love. That was my concept. That's what I thought was important at the time. And right now I'm kind of like observing that love is a very tricky, capricious entity. And people you love, sometimes you don't love anymore, and people that you don't love, you love, and it goes up and down and all around, and it doesn't follow any rules, you know, it's just what it is. So I wanted to defend the concept of love more than love itself, maybe. But defending love is what it was about. And then when I came to Mexico and encountered my mom's Hare Krishna connections, or connections and Hare Krishna concepts, some of which are agreeable to me, many which are not. The lifestyle choices, you know. I've been trying to bridge that with the concepts and the ideas that I give people in my readings and my tarot practice and I don't want to say spiritual teacher, because I'm not. I'm more like a counselor, you know, like a broken hearts counselor. And it's really weird because right now I feel like I need some counseling of my own. You know, so why am I doing this physic woodpecker shit on you guys in the world? Well, the concept was, and I think it still is to a certain extent, that if we become transparent to everybody, if our hearts are open, if our souls are bared, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Unfortunately, the concept is not entirely correct, because there are interests alien to our persons that will tag into whatever weakness, flaw, mistake you make, and will try to draw energy from that. It's like a social vampirism, you know. I'll give you an example. There's very devout Muslims out there in the world doing very devout thinking and meditating on the nature of Islam for themselves and for the world, and many of them are convinced, perhaps rightly so, that the prophesied times of the Hittites are there, that we are in the end of times and all that stuff, and that Islam will become the religion that will rule over all, because it's the only logical solution to Christianity, which has sold itself on many ways to non-Christian or to no faith, to lack of faith, or to false faith. Unfortunately for the Islamic teachers, murshids, mullahs, in Islam there is also a great deal of corruption and interests, and folks become Muslims to not satisfy a spiritual urging, but to satisfy a social urging. So politics and religion are intricately tied in, and the minority religions, shamanism, Hinduism, Buddhism, become threatened by this interest, which can only be placed in the demonic, because if you are a sincere shaman or a sincere Buddhist or a sincere Catholic even, and you're practicing your faith and somebody comes in to cut your head off because you're practicing your faith, well, that sounds pretty fracking demonic to me. So what's the solution? Let's think about the Hare Krishnas. Now, Mom is a devout Hare Krishna. Now, what does that mean? It means that her philosophical outlook on reality is based on some concepts written a long time ago in some books called the Vedas, and that these Vedas are influencing the way she practices her life in the present, much like the Christians with the Bible or the Muslims with the Quran. And that there was a teacher called Prabhupada who somehow came into the world of the Western world to bring these teachings to the people, and he fomented a certain way of life which is agreeable to my mom. Okay. I'm not going to criticize the Hare Krishnas right now, because that's not the job of this blog, and this blog is just a report on what's going on with me. But what's going on with me is a spiritual as well as physical, mental, and quite ordinary thing. So Prabhupada comes over, brings this enormous jewel of knowledge called the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and shares it with the Western world, and immediately elements of his mission turn on to the power that this can give them to achieve material needs. A mafia is born, a religious mafia. And I guarantee you there's a religious mafia in Islam, there's tons of religious mafias in Christianity, Buddhism. Every time you gather people together to share resources, intelligent people that know how to take for themselves will take. And foolish people that believe in what these people tell them for religious or whatever the reasons will give unto them these resources. And I apply that to also non-religious entities like communism and all that, because you can't not say that communists don't share in that problem. Indeed, I would call communism the religion of no religion. So the present state of affairs is that human mafias, human Cosa Nostras, in all aspects of life, including the Vatican, especially the Vatican, influence how people shop, what they buy, and what they buy for, how they spend their money. Now, the root cause of all this problem.
¿Qué?
Estoy hablando con la computadora contigo. Es cuando decía.
Vamos a poner la mesa.
Ah, ok. ¿Vamos a comer? Va.
Ya vete a sentar que ya vamos a comer.
Ahí voy. We're going to take a little pause for the cause. We're going to go eat. Just want to say the root cause of all this problem is the system of value based on wealth. Now, wealth originally was cattle. Humans, although they don't like to think of themselves as such, are cattle for other humans. Now, when you get that idea, you get the idea that religions are one of the ways to control the cattle. Chintamani Ashram video blog for August 13th of 2013. We have not yet transcended the things we need to transcend, and we're still in the birth pangs of the New World Order, or whatever you want to call it. And let's see where it takes us, yeah? God bless.